Hi, Robert.
Hi Wendy, I'm for your colleagues back in Fanshawe. I'm Robert Burgess from Victoria University in Wellington, and amongst other things I am helping organise the Victoria University New Zealand entry into the 2011 Solar Decathlon. We've got a group of students and staff from the university, in particular from the School of Architecture, working on this project. Can you stop for a minute?
No, carry on. That's fine.
We put together an entry to the US Department of Energy to build a house on the National Mall in Washington DC in 2011, and after a long period of time, including having to subsequently submit a scale model of the house and a major document, the concept design for the house, we got accepted into the competition. The competition involves not only designing a house, but actually building a house on the mall in Washington DC and operating it for at least a week as a fully functional house. And that makes it rather a rather comprehensive project for a School of Architecture from New Zealand to actually carry out. So we are certainly interested in looking at assistance, help from elsewhere to make this happen. Certainly in terms of building a house, very few, or I'd say none of the people on the project currently have ever actually built a house. The school is a school of architects. We have building science. We have people who can tell us about the energy performance of houses. They can tell us about people's responses to a house. It's a house's performance. We don't have people who can actually get down to the nitty-gritty, and we don't even have engineers.
Well, you don't, eh?
We don't.
What is Guy? Now, Guy is with you, and he's a faculty member.
Guy's a faculty member. He's probably the closest we have to sort of hands-on knowledge of construction. He is an architect, and he is also somebody who runs building science programs at the university, construction programs. But again, those programs, teaching programs, tend to be well, they are theoretical. So again, there's no hands-on construction experience that his students might be bringing to the project. So we're certainly looking for assistance in that aspect of the project. The weekend that we've had here in Washington DC has been fabulous in terms of finding out more about what we need to do to put the house to make the house happen, to put it onto the mall. The requirements of the US Department of Energy, they've gone through their rules and regulations, and we found, just for example, and related to the area that we're talking about, that we can have professional builders and electricians and the like working on the house, helping us construct the house and putting it onto the mall. However, we would have to pay for them, and so my job within the project, I'm a botanist by background. My job is to find the money to make the project happen, and to bring a project or a house from New Zealand to Washington DC involves probably a whole bunch of prefabrication and construction in New Zealand of at least parts of the house, major components of the house. We'll probably develop whole wall components, roof components, and bring them in containers by ship, probably to Baltimore, where we'll from where we will transport them to Washington DC, and quite possibly construct the house. Either construct the house here in Washington DC before the event, or in the 7 days immediately preceding the competition itself. We've got a 7-day period when we can construct it on the mall in Washington. So there are certainly opportunities for assistance in that regard for the project.
You're talking about the New Zealand Embassy, how they might help.
Well, they have offered us space to, tentatively offered us space to look after the...
I cannot, just split it, okay? So you can just...
Don't worry about it. He's just doing his business in the background.
We need to store material in or near Washington DC, near the mall, in the 1, 2 or 3 or more weeks after the shipment has arrived from New Zealand and preceding the period of the solar decathlon event. So the New Zealand Embassy has offered us space to do that. Now there's also a possibility that we could actually completely build the house there on the site, on that particular site.
It would be some fast work though, wouldn't it?
It would be over a period of about 2 weeks.
Oh, you can do it for 2 weeks on the actual mall?
No, I'm talking about...
on the embassy?
I'm talking about the New Zealand Embassy grounds.
Right.
So there's that possibility, and then we would crane and truck the house down to the mall, a few miles down the road, and then place it on the exact plot on the National Mall. But that will then require electricians to be working on the house to connect the house to the grid. Although it's a completely solar-powered house, all the generation of electricity through the PVs that we will have on the house needs to be taken directly into the grid, and then for the use of appliances and lighting and so on for the operation of the house, we take from the grid, and in that way they measure exactly what we generate and what we use.
Yeah, right. Oh. So, okay, well, I'll just end now because I'm coming up to eight and a half minutes. So, but that's great.